Welcome back. It seems like every week we hear about some drug company raising the price of their prescription drugs to some astronomical figure. Last week, Bernie Sanders and Representative Elijah Cummings demanded information from a drug company that has raised prices on a leukemia drug by nearly $8,000 in the past several years. Ron, do you think it's time the government took control of prescription drug prices?
You know, the sad part about that, the report came out that it was $80,000 above what it was before.
80,000, not 8,000.
And now people are calling for government intervention. Isn't it unique that when a problem comes up, who do they call on but government to solve the problem?
Yep.
But then on the other side, who do we criticize when something happens, but why's government got their hands in it?
Right.
What do we have? We had the other deal where senator from West Virginia's wife was involved in a price of a pen.
Oh, the EpiPen.
The EpiPen.
Yeah.
And then you found out that a mother was involved in selling the product and getting it sold. And what happens? Drugs are out there. Somebody sees a way to make an inordinate profit and get involved in it. And the first thing we do, we say, I'm going to call my congressman.
Right.
So good Mr. Cummings and good Mr. Senator Sanders say, we need to become involved in this. Is it the supply and demand? Should the marketplace take care of it?
Right.
But then you get into the leukemia deal and people need it and they can't afford it, then it's ripping off Medicare, then it can rip off TRICARE, it can rip off other people's insurance, then it becomes a serious problem.
So this company is a company called, and I may get the pronunciation wrong, Ariad? Is that the name
I'm
of
not
the
sure how
company?
to pronounce it.
Their point in their statement back to the government was that they spent $1.3 billion in research and development to get this drug. You know,
That's just the research and development.
right. So we all say, well, the cost of drugs in Canada or wherever is cheap.
Right.
And you know, the cost of a pill, it costs you 10 cents to make a pill, right? Well, it costs you 10 cents to make the second pill. It costs you 1.3 billion to make the first one. And they've also said that they've had unrecovered losses of approximately $1.4 billion.
Right.
I see both sides of this argument. It troubles me greatly that people might be in a position not to afford these drugs. And I think we need to find a way to deal with that. But the other piece of it is businesses that lose money don't stay in business.
Right. Well, you know.
And I mean, I don't know that I believe their figures. Maybe they're right, maybe they're wrong. But the fact of the matter is, if you lose money in business, you're not in business very long.
So I looked it up. I looked up, there was actually a study in 2014 on drug prices, on how much does it cost to get a single drug FDA approved. Now, interestingly enough, out of every 5,000 to 10,000 research drugs, only one of those even gets FDA approval. All right, so that means you've got 4,999 other drugs that they don't even get approved.
Right. That also costs you something.
Right.
To do an R&D on.
Now, the 2014 Tufts Center study said in 2013 the cost for a single drug to get FDA approval was $2.87 billion. All right, now that includes R&D, that includes clinical trials, that includes post-clinical trials. All right, and my biggest concern here is it's going to take let's say we try to, do like Hillary Clinton suggested, use Medicare to try to bargain, and I say bargain very loosely, more like strong arm drug companies into lowering their prices. Well, if you start doing that, what's going to end up happening is you're going to make it so they're not making a profit off the drugs. They might not even be breaking even. They might be losing money. If that happens, you're going to really significantly reduce innovation, and the companies are going to simply just start taking their entire operation overseas to places with less restrictions. So we have to be very careful screaming, the government needs to do something, because if you scream what the government needs to do something, they just might, and you might be sorry they did.
And then you've got more of a problem. I mean, look at what we had in the oil companies. They said they couldn't go out, they couldn't, they weren't making new refineries
Right.
because of the cost. And what happens now? $2.33 for a gallon of gas, when before at that time it was like $3.60. I hope that we don't get the government overly involved, and we talk about research and development here in Hagerstown in the new Mount Etna Farms Park.
Right.
What happens if you get some research and development company there? Research and development does not make money.
Right.
They have to get a product, sell that product, and
Exactly.
where do they get the income for research and development?
Well, and what if they're one of the 4,999 that don't make it?
There you go.
So, and I'm going to take the last word on that. But next up on the flip side, we'll discuss how the Philippines has been rocking the boat recently. We'll be back in 3 minutes.